Great.
All right.
Hafide, Danturo. Welcome to Marianas Stories. I'm Catherine Perry, and this is where we chat with ordinary people with extraordinary stories in our community. You know, our islands are known for our natural beauty. We're known to be a place where you can not just, oh, here comes a bird. Here comes a place where you can not only learn about history, but you can actually touch history. And I think we're also a place where it's easy to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. And one of the best ways to do that, of course, is hiking. And our guest today knows a lot about that. His name is Bill Harwood. Bill, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here.
Hey, thanks for agreeing to share with us about your hiking experience here in Saipan. Maybe you could start us off by letting us know a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm an old guy. Just turned 67 this
Congrats.
week. So,
Oh, this week. Okay, great.
yeah, but I keep myself young by teaching fifth graders and getting out and doing stuff. Not just sitting inside, you know, swimming, biking, hiking, going to the gym. I grew up in Montana, so hiking was just a part of life there. Most people live out in the country, and so my backyard was mountains, and so I would just go off by myself all the time there. So people wonder why I do that here. I guess it's just part of my nature to do that. So I've just really enjoyed exploring this place.
And how long have you been living in Saipan?
Well, I first came to Saipan when I was fresh out of college in 1979, and my sister and brother-in-law were over here. They were part of a mission organization. You may have heard of Youth with a Mission, the big chicken farm up on Capitol Hill. They didn't have that at the time, but I came and helped establish that, I guess. So I was here for the time with them. We went back, came in the summer for summer of missions type thing. Mm-hmm. Went back in the fall, and then I went and did my training with the mission in Germany, and ended up back here a few years later because I just fell in love with this place and the people and the island.
So you said you recently got into hiking here kind of hardcore during COVID. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, we all know what that was like. On the lockdown, you weren't supposed to go anywhere, be with anybody, you know, in groups or whatever. And so I decided, well, I'm not going to just be locked up in my little apartment all by myself. But I had heard about different places, and I thought, I'll just start exploring, and I'll be on my own. I won't be near anybody I'm going to get COVID from or give to or whatever. And so I just started going out, and it was amazing. You know, the only places I'd really been to that were my favorite places at that time were Forbidden Island and Managaha across the way there, the Grotto. So I knew about those places, but I'd heard about these other caves and trails that people had told me about, and so I just started getting hints from them and finding out where to go, following the little pink tags that are in the boonies, asking for directions, etc. So yeah, I would go out a couple times a week.
I think I'm one of those people who's lived here forever and hasn't actually been to a lot of the caves and on the hikes and stuff. What are some of the more interesting experiences you've had hiking?
Well, I mean, when I first discovered El Toro, which is an easy little 10-minute jaunt down to where the bull roars, if you've heard of that.
And this is in Marpi, right? On the way to the last command post?
Yep, almost to last command post.
Off the left, it's near a coconut tree. But see,
yeah,
that's the thing.
Third coconut tree up from the...
You're kidding me.
Yeah,
You're not kidding me.
That's the directions I had. And look for the plastic bag wrapped on the trees. Okay?
Okay.
And I found it. And yeah, I went down there myself.
Now, would you call that one an easy, moderate, or difficult hike?
That's an easy hike down. And then as difficult as you want it, hiking up those craggy limestone rocks. Make sure you have good, strong shoes and gloves, because it's rugged going. But boy, the caves up there were just beautiful. The limestone formations and the colors. I was just amazed with them.
Where'd you get your tips from? Where do you get your tips?
Well, I think by that time I had joined that group, Santa Mai Hikers, Booney Stompers, and then
it's a Facebook group.
Yes,
and
Facebook
congratulations,
group.
You're now quote unquote a group expert.
Yeah, a group expert.
On this Facebook
I laugh
page.
at that. I'm a moderator.
And a moderator.
I was asked to be a moderator, and just to help with the influx, because there's way over 1,000 people that are members of it. Mm-hmm. Most of them don't live here, but
yeah,
a lot of them do. And that helps. And I had friends. Some of you remember a dear friend, lawyer Rex
Kosak. Yeah.
Kosak. He helped get me going, and I'm trying to think of some of the other people now the main guys I'm hiking with are Ian Octavid. You'll see his drone work. He's amazing. And Fred Camacho. He knows every place on this island.
The caveman.
The caveman. So I've learned so much from these guys and really enjoy going out. Another place that just takes my breath away is when I found Dragon Tail Infinity Pool. Just an amazing place. I couldn't believe. Is that what you call it? Up there by Santa Lourdes?
Yeah. See, that's another place I've heard about that I haven't been to. No.
That's amazing.
Now that, everybody describes that place and maybe other places as, they make it sound so easy. But is that place really as easy to get to as they describe? Because when I saw some photos on the Facebook group page, it looked pretty difficult. It looked like a hike.
To me, it's easy, but if you haven't hiked much, a little difficult. There's some brush you have to go through, but it's pretty cut. We were just down there last week, and the trail's real cleared out, and you have to go over a little rock ledge, 40-foot drop maybe.
So it's a little bit of moving down a cliffside.
Yeah, but you can. There's good handholds, good grips. I mean, you have to be careful. I don't hike when it's raining. I don't do the slippery stuff. I don't think that's safe, and wearing glasses is no fun to hike in the rain anyway. So I don't usually do that. But it's beautiful during the wet season, because there are waterfalls right there to your side as you're going through some water too. And then once you get down there, if you don't go down to the pool itself, Fred and Ian and I went for this trek out to the left side. It's called Gloriana or something. It goes for probably a good mile out there, and it's just amazing. And you see all these cracks in the cliff. That was an astounding.
Where's the starting point for that hike to the Infinity Pool?
Okay. I don't know the name of the street. You go up past Santa Lourdes and just keep to your left. Oh, yeah. And there's a goat farm.
Classic Saipan directions.
Signs. Yes. Beware of the goats. Do not bother the goats.
No way, really?
Really. And there's some little highway markings in the middle of the road there, and then you just park. And you don't go on the road area that says no trespassing, but there's a trail right at the very end, and you go through the bush. So,
what would you say is the most interesting thing you've encountered on a hike?
Oh, I love the day it was there again. We were coming back, and there basking in the sun was this huge monitor lizard, Halitai, I guess they call it. And I've always wanted to see one up close and personal, and there he was.
How big?
It's probably 5 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not 5 feet. 5 feet's like a little bit shorter than you.
Yeah. So maybe 4. But he was a good sized one for sure. So that was fun. Yeah. As far as, I was astounded the first time I went into Honeycomb Cave and how big it was. And
now, where's that?
That's up by the shooting range, not the shooting range, where the military go and practice, up by the dump.
Okay.
Yeah. Up
north in Marpi.
Up in Marpi. And then the caves down in Bonsai. You go to Bonsai, and then there's a trail that goes off to the right there, and you go right past them, about 5 minutes in the trail. And there's a whole circle of caves in there.
I think this would be a good time to mention this program is for informational purposes only. This is not a guide on how to get to these places, because, you know, some of these places are dangerous. Have you ever been in a dangerous or even a life-threatening situation on these hikes? You know, because Saipan, we're civilized, but in some ways we're really wild.
I mean, anything can be dangerous, right? Driving your car can be dangerous. A lot of people get on my case. Why do you go out there by yourself? And I shouldn't, and I don't advise it. I guess
I think
growing
that falls under tips for hikers. Right. Yeah, don't go by yourself.
I think growing up in Montana, and, you know, and Americans are pretty independent. So we just take off by ourselves, hike. My parents would just say, be home by dinner, you know, and I'd go off in the mountains. I lived in the Rocky Mountains, so amazing playground, right? And there we had bear and mountain lion and rattlesnakes. Here, you don't have any of that stuff, so here it just feels safe to me. And there's no big mountains really. There's some cliffs that could be dangerous. And I don't know, I guess I consider myself careful, but there's always things that can happen. One time the rocks are pretty solid here, but every once in a while there's a rock that slips. And I remember I did fall backwards one time, but fortunately I had a backpack on me and I fell on my backpack, so I was all right. So that was probably the closest thing to a dangerous thing that I had.
One of the really cool things about the Facebook group that you help moderate, CNMI Hikers, is the photography and the videography that the members post. It's really astounding.
It is, and that is what got me to finally get a phone.
Really?
Is so that I could have a decent camera.
Oh, okay.
And that is the main reason I got this. I had a flip phone until like a year ago when I finally gave in, and it has made the difference. The pictures are astounding. I agree. And so I love doing photography. I tried taking it under the water though, and it didn't work. It works in freshwater, but in seawater for some reason it seeps in even through the cover that I had that worked fine in freshwater. So I don't want to risk that again, because these are not cheap.
They are not. What do you think it is about hiking that appeals to you personally? Because not everybody's into hiking.
Right. I like that just time to be out, you know, commune with God, commune with nature, and just to clear your head. Being a 5th grade teacher, so it's nice to just get away from it all and get away from people, I guess. But so I don't really go on big group hikes. I think I've only been on a big group hike once or twice. Usually 2 or 3 of us, and that's a good number to me. Then there's always safety. I know somebody has your back, or somebody knows more about something. A lot of these caves and whoops, it's about to go. Oh, I see. Yeah, caves and things will have artifacts from World War II, of course. You know, there's all kinds of shells and rusty old, you know, dishes and things that they used.
Ordnance.
And yeah, so that are really cool. And there it goes. Bye. And so
we tried.
You get people like Fred who knows so
here.
Much, and so that's it's been really educational as well. And this island just is a treasure, and I'm just amazed. There are so many caves. It's like every place I go, there's caves. So, I mean, of course, we know it used to be under here. This was a garbage dump. So who knows what's under here as well. But not that I'd want to go into that one. But I found caves that were like garbage dumps from World War II. Just all kinds of stuff thrown in there. Ration cans. Yeah. Yeah, you have to walk carefully in some of those areas. So, and don't pick up things that you're not quite sure what they are, you know, in big shells. So, yeah, for me, just to see it is cool. It's not something I would want to take home or have anyway. I think those things should just be left there for others to see. Yeah.
How do you think hiking has, especially hiking here in Saipan, has impacted you as an individual or as a person at all?
I think it's kept me healthy, kept me going, kept me somewhat in shape. It's, I guess, going out there and doing something that, you know, the other people may think is dangerous or hard to do, and saying, I can do that, you know, and not endanger myself, hopefully, or, you know, others that might go with me. I think also it just gives you so much more of an appreciation for where we live. And this island, I think if I just stayed in my house or watched TV and played video games all day, that I would get really claustrophobic. But here, the first thing I did before the hiking came on was I did some diving and snorkeling. I love snorkeling. And just going down and seeing another country under the water here is just amazing as well. And now add into that all the caves and the history. There is so much to do that I never run out of things to do. I never get bored here.
There's a lot more to do than it appears sometimes on the surface.
And this is such a tiny place. Can you imagine? Yeah. I think of, man, how much did I miss out back in Montana growing up that I could have seen? So, yeah.
What tips would you give to people who are interested in exploring a little bit more, maybe like where they start, make safety tips? What would you advise?
I think if you never hiked or, you know, it's all new to you, be sure you're with somebody that knows something about it, or, you know, at least be together with somebody. Make sure you have some good hiking shoes, thick soles at least. I've seen people out there with flip-flops on, and it's like, no, don't do that. Sunscreen, hats, you know, water. I've run out of water before, so sometimes I've gone places and I end up, like the other day I was hiking in Gualarai, and I went over the mountain and ended up in Chinatown, and that was a long way back to get my car.
Yeah.
So, fortunately, I could walk by the gym, which I have a membership, and get water there. So make sure you have plenty of water. What else? Beware of private property. I think some of the land, you know, sometimes it's kind of confusing because you're not sure, is this public, is this private? If I'm in question and I see a house, I'll usually go up and ask them. People are more than generous and open to having you see what's on their land.
But they definitely want to be appreciate being asked.
They like being asked, and they definitely don't want you to take things from it. But there's so many places that are on the fringe of their property or whatever, and people seem more than happy to share that with you, but they do want you to ask. So.
Well, Bill, I really want to thank you for just encouraging, really, and hopefully inspiring us with your personal story. You know, I thought you've been hiking here like since you got here, and just knowing, you know, how much experience you've gotten in such a short time, just because, you know, you had some people who were willing to tell you, you know, show you, is really exciting and encouraging. Any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah, and I think that if you have that drive or that passion in you, for me, the more I get out there, the more I want to be out. So I think it just fuels that in a good way and keeps you going in a good way, and it inspires others. I know I've had parents now ask me if I'd be willing to maybe start a club or something for the young. I said, yeah, it'd be great if I had parents willing to join me with that, right?
Wow, that's cool.
And I think that'd be great, you know, and other people that would like to. It's now that we're finally out of this, seems like, this COVID season, I keep hearing of resurgences. I think people are a lot more willing to get out and mingle more and do things. There are dangers. I know people will always caution you, especially going to places where people have died, like say Forbidden Island or infinity pool, and that is really tragic. I think if we really just keep our head about us, especially if you're in the water or by the water, be careful and know that the ocean can seem very calm, but it has an undercurrent. So be careful all times. Learn how to read the signs. So yeah, and please, if you pack it in, pack it out. It's really
trash.
Really sad to see so many places that there's just trash. Yeah,
And not
on the
necessarily
cliffs.
stuff that's washed in from the ocean.
No.
You should tell the difference.
I know some are the ones that are fishing out there, but I mean, I just see water bottles, Coke cans, beer cans scattered here and there. Please, let's love our island and take care of it. Bring it back out.
Good words.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
You bet.
Our guest today has been Bill Harwood. He's been sharing about his experience as a hiker here in the Marianas. You can catch his adventures and the adventures of other hikers here on the Facebook page, CNMI Hikers. This has been Marianas Stories. I'm Catherine Perry. We'll see you next month.